All right, well, good morning, everyone. And thank you for scheduling team at KCT Business School this session for your students. And I hope there are some faculty too. And I would like to welcome you to Peregrine Global Services. I'm delighted to introduce you to Peregrine and specifically our business education comprehensive assessment exam solution, which is used for programmatic evaluation to measure student learning and student learning performance. So my name is Alima Jamia Soren. I'm Director of Asia Pacific Operations of Peregrine, and I'm based in Tokyo, Japan, and happy to talk to you today. So let's start with why Peregrine, right? And let me introduce you that Peregrine Global Services, we have been serving higher educational institutions for more than 10 years, and we are a leader in higher education e-learning solutions. We offer innovative technology-based assessment and online educational solutions to our partner institutions. And you can see that the blue dots is all our client, or we call them partner institutions located all around the US. And the map in the lower corner is, I tried to pull more of our regional Asia map there. So we have about 500 higher educational institutions located in over 40 countries using our online solutions, and most of it is our business education assessment tool. And so far, we have delivered more than 2 million assessments worldwide. And then we have a team of higher education experts with global experience who work in our offices located in the US. That's our home office in Gillette, Wyoming. And as you can see, I'm in the Tokyo office. We also have an office in Amsterdam, or in the Netherlands as well. So we have started out as a Peregrine Leadership Institute. We've had Peregrine Academic Services, and now the combined organization is called Peregrine Global. So now let's talk about our global business education assessment service, right? Which is designed specifically to measure student learning and performance, as I mentioned. It is not an exam to grade you, the learners, for pass or fail. It is also not an exam to give a grade to faculty how they're doing. This is an assessment exam designed to measure, especially student learning as they relate to student learning outcomes at your program level, so that your program could identify the areas of strengths and the areas of opportunities for improvement. There is a great nexus between quality and accreditation, right? So here at Peregrine, we work with all major international accrediting agencies, be it institutional or programmatic accreditation. And also your school in particular, for example, is going to use Peregrine data and results in order to meet your national accreditation requirements, right? And then I know in India, you have the National Board of Accreditation, you have the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, and also the National Accreditation Board for Certification bodies of India. And if you look at it, almost all of the accreditors displayed here require the business schools and management schools to have identified and defined learning objectives within the established framework of quality assurance processes. And those involve direct measures of learning, indirect measures of learning. But at the end of the day, we want to get information to improve the quality of our academic programs, right? And to keep up the continuous improvement processes in order to achieve the greater quality of our business offerings to you, the learners. So what is this global business education? We call it GBE assessment comprehensive exam. So you'll hear probably Peregrine exam, Peregrine comprehensive exam, Peregrine inbound, outbound, or Peregrine end of the program exam. So this is a comprehensive exam that provides a normed summative assessment of your business and management academic programs used to evaluate the program for both internal evaluation and for external benchmarking purposes. This exam is offered online, so that means it does not require a proctor. There are safety and security measures built into the system that allows it to be offered to you at your place, time, and space of choosing, though I know the KCT Business School is going to schedule a time for you to complete the exam. We offer you customization of our exam content by academic discipline. So the academic disciplines, we refer to them as topics. And these topics are related to what is covered in your academic programs and what are the learning outcomes associated with your particular academic program. And it is specifically designed to address, as I mentioned, national, international, institutional, or programmatic accreditation requirements related to quality assurance, learning outcomes assessment, external academic benchmarking, and meeting your national accreditors' requirements. You will be using it in British English, and this is a true global sort of business knowledge assessment tool that is designed for schools located outside of the US, right? So we have a separate test bank for US based programs, and we have separate test banks for schools that are outside of the US. And they are available for different academic degree levels, undergraduate and graduate. So that's wonderful. But also, we offer it in 7 different languages listed here. So it's not an assessment that is testing a learner's proficiency of English language. It is an assessment that really measures student retained knowledge of business, academic, topical areas. And then we offer 12 academic disciplines in this particular exam. And I know your program has decided to include 8 in one test bank and 10 in another test bank. But essentially, here's the list of those core business management disciplines that are included in our database. So the ones that are sort of muted or in gray color are the ones that not the specific areas of focus for your particular program. We are also able to upload custom topics. And I like to bring this example of the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York that has to have fashion merchandising as one of the core academic disciplines to assess student learning, right? So they have their own test bank questions. We upload it and offer it to you. We do use what's called the inbound outbound assessment approach. And that means students take the exact same test at the beginning of the program and take the test at the end of the program. And then that way we're able to compare the inbound and outbound exam scores for direct measure of learning, right? The value added of your academic program to the learner's knowledge base. And then if you utilize the cumulative results and compare it to the other institutions, you're going to get academic benchmarking data. So from us, your faculty and your administrators have already received a student registration instructions, and we provide you a link to your microsite. There's an academic institution's password, and so you will access the link and then you will go through a self-registration process. In order to help you with how the process works, we have created the exam student user guide. And in the user guide, you'll get a lot of detailed information as to how to register for the microsite, right? It's a very simple process. And we already provided you the link and then password to use to access the registration. And in order to register, all you need is your first name, your last name, and the site is branded to your institution. So you'll see KCT Business School, Peregrine Global, and then you will need to enter your school email address. And make sure you know which email address you're using because you will create your password as well. And then make sure that it's typed in correctly. Of course, the system will ask and double check because that's that email address is where you will get your completion certificate. And also your faculty and administrators can access and download your completion certificate as well. There is a video that talks about how to register for the exam. So it's called registration training video. And we have provided the link to the video to your faculty and administrators. And if you have any questions related to technical support or frequently asked questions, they're all contained in this exam student user guide. So I do want to kind of give you in a nutshell that you will have, depending on which group, one group will have 80 question assessment exam. The first year batch, I think. The second group will have the 10 topic, which means 100 question assessment exam. And then each question is timed to 3 minutes. So you'll have 3 minutes to read and answer the question, which is more than enough. You'll find out. But during the exam, you are allowed to take 2 15-minute breaks. And if you need to somehow log out of the system, You can do that in case of emergency. If something happens, you need to attend immediately, or if you're in the classroom setting, you have your instructors and faculty helping with you. But please keep in mind that within 48 hours, you will have a total of 3 log-in attempts. And so, again, you'll receive the student registration instructions and then this user guide. And if you have any questions, you can also reach out to our tech support. And there's also instructions how to access tech support using our website or directly and so forth. So I wanted to talk a little more in the remaining time. How does this exam help your school and why you as a student should try to do your best? And also, what is it that you get out of the exam as well? So the idea here is your school uses this exam for quality control and continuous improvement of their academic program, right? I've already mentioned that. But our exams have been designed to ensure your school receives accurate and reliable data from you, the learners, in order to use that data for academic improvement, for decision making, and to really understand where you are doing well and where your school is meeting your needs and getting you to a level where you need to know in terms of business knowledge areas, right? And so your school is going to administer the exam in the coming weeks. And then once the exam is completed, the next step is for your faculty and administrators to review the student results using a wide array of available Peregrine reports. And we are known for our expansive reporting capabilities. So here's a list of some of the reports or what these reports are used for, right? I know your program wants to externally benchmark your students' results against, we have multiple averages to compare your student results against, could be all US MBA programs, all international MBA programs, or all programs in India and so forth. As I mentioned, your program administrators will be able to identify the program strengths and weaknesses, and then measure learner growth over time, also compare groups of learners' results against each other or against different international or averages that have been grouped based on uh, institutional characteristics. There is an opportunity to conduct longitudinal analysis, identify potential learning gaps, and also determine why learners answer questions incorrectly, again, to improve the quality of the program. So there is a challenge to help learners to do their best, right? To incentivize, to make sure that our learners do their best on this programmatic assessment. Again, we want to collect accurate and reliable data, but also we want to give our learners something to demonstrate integrated knowledge to their employers. So I'll show you how you can do that. And that you can do that with the use of our learner certificate of completion, which is designed to be displayed as a symbol of your achievement, right? You, the learners, can use the certificate also as part of your job application portfolio of achievements as an evidence of having achieved certain, business management, disciplinary and knowledge level with the use of this external, internationally and nationally normed assessment tool. This certificate also is used by your schools as a method of academic accountability. So typically, institutions will have learners submit the certificate within a course as evidence of exam completion. But also, depending on the exam settings, the learner assessment report will also be available for download. Now, the learner assessment report is for you, the learners. It provides you with detailed insight into the assessment data as a means of raising awareness, providing you with a tool for your professional portfolio or communicate the value of your education to potential employers. For your administrators and program directors, this is also an opportunity to communicate value of the program to various stakeholders, right? It could be, again, any collaborators, any partners, even for recruitment or for retention purposes as well. So this learner assessment report illustrates the why of the exam, right? It helps the student understand their individual scores, how they rank compared with a sample of other learner scores, their knowledge strengths and potential knowledge gaps as it relates to the topic areas covered by the exam, and the types of errors that made the most. So here's some interesting reports, and if I have time, I'll be happy to share it with you. So this report also explains how, by completing the assessment to the best of your ability, the learners become more informed about their own learning, but also provide the schools with data they need to impact the quality of their education, right? So the learners have taken part in a process that will add value to their educational experience, their degree, and help future learners who follow their path by enrolling into your academic program. All right, so let me show you how to use, there's a page in the report. So these are some pages from the report, and there are different sections. I'm not going to cover all of them, but here's a highlight of the how to use your assessment report. So here, learners are given an overview of each section of the report and how to understand the data they're seeing. There's a glossary of terms provided to define unfamiliar terms. For example, comparison or sample data pool, or what does sample is referred in this case, right? What is the percentage score? What is the percentile rank? And how do we define the percentage change? The Your Score section helps the learner interpret their total score and percentile rank. When a learner has completed an inbound or midpoint exam, as well as an outbound exam, so which is the program level pre and post test, also formative exam in the middle, right? A comparison is provided that demonstrates the learner's growth in learning from the beginning to the end of their academic experience. There's an explanation of scores section, which provides a graph and chart to help the learner understand how the scores relate to the average scores achieved on the exam. So the dashed line indicates their inbound score, the dotted line indicates the midpoint score, and the solid line indicates the outbound score. So the exam topics, or exam disciplines, management disciplines section provides additional details on scores and percentile rank at that topical level. This table of data is more relevant than the total exam score because it is specific to each topical area, right? Since different schools select different topics for the exam, not all learners in the sample data pool receive the same exam. So therefore, it is important to make comparisons with all learners in the sample data pool who did receive the same topic, right? So the table provides the number of responses answered correctly out of the number of questions offered. For example, 8 out of 10, the topic score, the percentile rank, and the sample size of the pool. So there are also tips to understand the exam topics table provided within the report. So there is an illustration of topic results by rank from the highest to the lowest, which informs the learner of the areas where they have the most knowledge, as well as areas with knowledge gaps. So the topic data include a score, percentile rank, and the average score of all learners in the sample data pool who receive the same topic. So when the learner has completed an inbound and outbound exam, percentage change is shown to demonstrate their growth in learning. Now, in the learning opportunities section, the learner receives a response distractor report. Now, this report helps the learner understand the reason they may have answered the question incorrectly. Based on the answer given, the error may have been either calculation-based, concept-based, conclusion-based, fact-based, or interpretation-based error, right? So by having this information, a learner can recognize implied skills that need further development. For example, if a learner made a high number of calculation-based errors, they may consider reviewing the formulas and equations needed to solve problems in that particular academic discipline. So with all this information we provide in the learner assessment report, right, the learner understands the scores, the percentile rank, and have identified also strengths and learning opportunities. So what comes next? If the assessment report was for an inbound exam, the students know the starting point, right? Then they can expect to improve in all academic areas as they progress through the academic program. So areas where knowledge gaps were identified are those where additional study may be needed. If the assessment report was for a midpoint exam, they will be able to directly measure growth in learning since taking the inbound exam and identify areas for improvement and additional focus during the second half of the academic year, perhaps, right? And if the assessment report was for an outbound exam, that's the program level post test, they have a report that demonstrates what they know at the conclusion of their academic program. Now, this report can be used as a part of a portfolio for prospective employers, as part of the academic record for future degree plans in higher education, and also as a guide for professional development. And then the learner assessment report and the completion certificates are available to all the learners, but it also depends on the current exam settings chosen by your institution. So this I can talk to your faculty and instructors. So this is what I have for you. And the most important thing I would like to kind of use Albert Einstein's quote here is to not stop questioning. So with that, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. But I do have to join my next call. But welcome to Peregrine, and I hope you'll have a great experience in taking this comprehensive assessment exam to see where you are in terms of your academic journey, right? Academic business, disciplinary knowledge acquisition, and also identify where you can add and where you can develop. So with that, thank you very much for your time, and good luck. And please do reach out to us with your questions, comments, or if you need any clarification. Thank you.